We will be launching a rover on Minmus, and we'll cover everything, including building the rover, integrating it into the payload fairing, building and launching the rocket, and everything in between. So stick around, this is gonna be fun. So, we start our story obviously in the research because I've wanted to first research the archives and look where on Minmus I haven't been. And by looking on the surface landed, I come to a shocking conclusion. I've only landed in 2 spots, Midlands and Lesser Flats, which means we should be doing the rover, and I have decided to go with the rover parts, and those rover parts will be done by the Feline Utility Rovers mod. Yes, this is an awesome mod on the Kerbal store for KSP1. I suggest you check it out, and we will be building that rover. So we are going with those rover parts. I have introduced a cabin, I have introduced the bay for the experiments, and I have included the Science Junior and a lab. Also, I have included the liquid fuel and oxygen tanks for some, oomph, because we will be landing this thing, so we need some retro thruster to be able to land successfully. Obviously, since it's a rover, it must have wheels. I mean, otherwise, what are we talking about? And I'm gonna turn and flip the wheels. Good, so we have this one then, and then we need the retro thrusters, and those should be, ideally, blasting through the center of mass. So let me just quickly check. Center of mass, center of lift, slightly off center, but I can live with a change. So I think maybe if we introduce and move the center of mass by introducing some small tank or something at the back, that could be done. Okay, so this is the clip how we will be attaching it to the rocket fairing. Okay, I get it. It's simple enough and it will work. Alright, so the next thing that I wanted to introduce was to configure resources, and they have their own, life support thing, because with build aid we can have 100 days, we can be 100 days on Minmus. This will be fun, which means we can rove around and we can figure out what and how long we will have resources. Okay, then let's take as well the 2 solar panels, which will be on the roof, and 1 radiator just in case it gets too hot and too frisky. Also, we will like to introduce some ladders so that ultimately our Kerbals can climb up and climb down, because it's kind of important to be able to get in and get out of your rover if you're already using, if you catch my drift. So we're gonna be placing that here. Oh, and just over the wheels, because this platform extends nicely. I really love the attention to detail that was put into this, Feline Utility Rovers. It's really awesome. That's why I love playing with this mode. And of course, soon enough, guys, it's time for Science, which means soon enough we'll be playing KSP2 with and all of these beautiful, without the mods of course, but it will be still fun. Are you looking forward to it? I sure am. I think it will be amazing. Okay, so when we're already mentioning Science, because we are launching this rover for Science, we need science experiments from the, surface and all of that jazz. So we're cramming a lot of science experiments here, because we really need their, output to give us RPWS. This is just when we're orbital, so I don't think we already took the experiments from there. Okay, magnetometer boom. Well, if we're landed, if it can work, then I'm gonna take the magnetometer boom. But first things first, let's take the surface ablation laser, and there is this core drill, exocore core drill. Yeah, turn it around, and then it can do some, samples. Right. Okay, I don't know if there are any more experiments that we should put. Magnetometer boom. Yeah, I don't know what's wrong with me. I cannot talk apparently these days. Yeah. Right. So, we could use a battery. This is too big. This one is small. Oh, no, this one will fit nicely. Great. 2 of these batteries should fit nicely. I don't need much more batteries. I think it will be fine. Alright. What I want to be placing is some lights. When we are landing, I want some landing lights to tell me that I'm coming closer to the landing, so that's fine. Alright, no problem. Then, let's give it a try. So here we go, this is our rover, and we can give it a try. It's a little bit rainy and foggy outside, but it doesn't matter. Let's take an inwards view. Oh, in the cabin view is amazing. What do you think? Are we doing good? Yeah, Junk Systems Incorporated. That puts a lot of confidence in this build. Yeah, I feel a lot more confident. Okay, simulation active. Now let's go and check out how do the laser and science experiments work, because these look good enough for me. Okay, collecting the data, and we will be transmitting some science. Radial symmetry, good. Ready for the payload integration. So this rover we need to encapsulate in a big fairing. So I'm looking for this one. Yeah, okay, good. And now I'm looking for a big enough fairing that will be able to house this. So shall we take this? Nope. Shall we take that? Nope. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with the procedural. Those are the safest bet. And they kind of look good. So I'm pretty happy the way it looks. I just want to make sure. Come on. Extend straight. Extend straight. And then continue and close. By the way, you're watching everything in, I think, 3 to 4 times acceleration, because this will make it look, you know, quite nice and dandy. So I'm not gonna be using these, are just for show. I'm gonna assign the real crew a little bit later, and small surprise, it's gonna be some of you guys who are frequent in the comments, so do check it out. Who knows, maybe you're on the crew to go to the rover on Minmus. Yeah, alright, so nowadays I would like to take some good fuel tanks. I'm thinking Rockomax tanks, and then I'm gonna be placing the skipper engine if I can find one. Jesus Christ, there's so many engines. Oh boy. Oh no, that's the mainsail. That means skipper is a little bit higher up. Yeah, there we go. Here it is. Okay, so that gives us of plenty Delta V to come to Minmus and land, because this is obviously the transfer stage. So now the next thing that we need to take care of is to get into the orbit in the first place. So I'm thinking I'm gonna go with a regular old mainsail, because mainsail is after all a very oomph friendly one. Good. And this needs to be assisted with a couple of boosters. And with that being said, I was thinking maybe, you know, a solid SRBs. They're heavily underutilized, and I'm thinking these kickbacks will, you know, pack a kick, pun intended. So if we're gonna use these kickbacks, I'm thinking now what we want to do is some caps. These angled caps look beautiful, and they fit perfectly with the design aesthetic language of this craft. Oh, look at me, GrunfWorks speaking all fancy design aesthetic language. Yeah, what can I tell you? I'm a regular bull beep artist. Alright, so that being said, auto strutting everything to the heaviest part, because this looks cool and we don't need to have a mishmash of the struts. And let's build a launch tower. You know, when building a launch tower, I was thinking something of the ULA's Delta Heavy. So if we go and build something like this, it's sort of a Titan 3 launch stand, actually not a Delta Heavy, but more like a Titan. So let's see, what do we have here? We have the Titan 3 launch tower. We're going to be placing that one up, then we're going to be placing the top ceiling. Yeah, there we go. And we're going to be placing this railing. Good, that looks good to me. And then we're going to be placing the connect lines. So where are we? Where are the lines? There we go. No, that's nope. Those are the for crew. Silly hold down clamps. Well, those we might use if I put them on the side to hold the 2 SRBs and one from the front to hold the main rocket. I think that will be just enough. Those should hold the rocket in place, and they should create a believable launch tower. In this series, I'm kind of focusing on having sort of believable launch towers, because I think they're cool and they look good. Do let me know if you guys are building your own launch towers, or are you just, you know, rolling with the regular clamps down. That's it, just launch it. I don't care. I mean, this attention to details, I don't know, it creates a sense of immersion and pride when it works well, for me at least, so that's my shtick. Alright, so putting it on the launch pad and introducing new Kerbals. It's you commenters, guys. So the one is Jean-Philippe Sti, which is one of my frequent commenters. I've played with him extensively in my playthroughs. So this is Jean-Philippe Sti, he would be the pilot. We have Boy Race UK, which is the Boy Race crewman. He will be, I think, engineer for the de jour. No, scientist, yeah. And then we have Radoslav Mazurek, who is actually the engineer for today. So yeah, congratulations. As you can see, frequent commenting or being one of my patrons or supporters will get you on places, at least in the virtual world on the Kerbal system. So yeah, that happens. So this is a small way how I reward my most active community members, and it makes it a little bit more fun to see how will you end up. Will it work well or not? Anyway, with the rocket launch successfully executed in this beautiful Kerbin morning, we are going and climbing for the 100 by 100 standard apoapse, orbit. enjoying these beautiful volumetric clouds by Blackrack, and which has also now been hired in the KSP2. I really cannot wait for the For Science to come, because I think that update was gonna be really cool. Yeah, of course, when it lands, I will be playing the bananas out of it, and you guys will have, hopefully daily, but I cannot promise, videos on that. So, if you are not yet subscribed, this would be a good time to subscribe now, and then you will be following For Science updates and Let's Play to see how does the tech tree hold up in the KSP2. So that's something that I wanted to talk also a little bit about. I will be maybe doing a little bit more in-depth comparison between the tech tree of KSP1 and 2. Do let me know in the comments if you would find that interesting, and in terms of both pacing, because for me KSP2 is awesome and I like it, but it didn't give me yet the sense of progression, and that's why you have noticed that there were probably many KSP2 videos on my channel, because I really need that carrot to, you know, run after. I really need that because it feels like a sense of progression, and I really need to be, you know, chasing something. So that's why I think that For Science will be one of the most important updates that KSP2 have seen until the colonies come out. So I don't know if it's gonna be one after the other, I'm assuming so, but nevertheless. Back to this, to today and present day. Jean-Philippe, Radoslav and Timo are flying into the orbit. We have, on this episode, we have packed 2 scientists. That's Timo and I think the boy race. While the Jean-Philippe is the pilot and the Radoslav is the engineer du jour. So time to uncover the fairing. Let's adjust position nicely so that we can enjoy the view. Oh, I forgot the clamshell fairings. Sorry guys. Anyway, there we have the rover. I have made sure that the wheels don't need to be spinning in space, because that would give us some momentum whether you believe it or not. Unless all 4 are cancelling each other out, that would still give us some momentum. So yeah, that's why I make sure that the handbrake is pulled, antenna is extended, and we are getting ready to perform the burn, which will be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition. Yes, it's slightly off center, which means that the SAS can keep it in place, but it's tilting and wiggling a little bit. So 400 meters per second to burn, and then we will perform, this will be an orbital insertion in hopefully 100 by 100 ideal orbit. Beautiful. Kind of feels like reminiscent of when I'm looking at this truck in space. It reminds me of, you know, the Falcon Heavy when it first launched and had this Elon Musk's, you know, Tesla Roadster on it. Kind of feels, you know, gives me the feels. Alright, that being said, we are in 101 by 99 kilometer orbit. I guess it's good enough. We don't need it to be any better than that. So what I'm kind of thinking, we're gonna go now and set Minmus, and we'll need to align properly with the Minmus. So let's see, okay, add maneuver, tilt, there we go, fine, okay, and point maneuver prograde, and yeah. I always, when I say maneuver, it sounds like manure prograde. Well, manure prograde wouldn't be really a good place to be, because that means that you're going towards the poop. So yeah, when it comes to the manure prograde, we want to be maneuver prograde. Yeah. Time work complete. Alright, we will be starting our burn in 50-ish seconds, just making sure that everything is well aligned. It seems so. We have so many satellites, but when playing with the remote tech, those are kind of essential, and having a lot of satellites gives you that redundancy that you really need in terms of communication channels, especially when going into deep space. This is sort of my version of the DSN, if you will, Deep Space Network. Right, so now that we have fixed the orbital inclination, we are this little icon that looks like a base, although we are a rover. So that's where we go. Alright, and then we're gonna go turning it. Okie doke. There you go. Alright, so now it's time to tweak the periapsis which we have, and that one is we're gonna fiddle a little with it until we get a low enough periapsis, and then we will be performing the burn. I'm thinking the Minmus periapsis of roughly 113. Maybe we go with 15, some smaller periapsis. Yeah, 97. I don't know, to me that looks good enough. I'm not gonna faffle too much about it. We will be doing the burn in 30 seconds. The burn will be 896, almost 900 meters per second, and we have a total of 2.2 kilometers per second in our tank, so, and that's including the rover as well. So that's 1730 in this skipper stage, which has a good thrust to weight of 3.43, which means it's gonna be a rather short burn, 30 seconds. I guess it's doable. Jean-Philippe and Radoslav are not complaining, and Timo and Boyrace are checking out some science parameters. They're thinking, okay, how can we bring back more science home? And, you know, full disclosure, honestly, I think I didn't fully get the grips of how it was supposed to be working, and I'm pretty sure some of you will be shouting at me in the comments, you know, GrunfWorks, you dumb, it doesn't work like that. Yeah, okay, so my approach has been missed by a little, but we have a periapsis on Minmus of 14 kilometers, which is also doable, and it's nice. It's pretty nice and snug and close. So, you know, bye-bye, Kerbin. We will be performing science experiments soon enough. Oh, blah. That means that there is some science to be had. That's my science alert popping up, and once we change the sphere of influence, we should be able to do lots of science. So there we go, change sphere of influence, and... bloop, see, my science mod has told me that there are lots of science experiments to be had. So we're gonna go and do gravity scan. And now here's when I get confused. Process in the lab, 100 science time, but it says 25 data is 115 days. So I'm gonna be chewing on the gravity scan forever? I don't know, guys. It's 20 now versus 100 in like a long time. You know, I'm gonna go with sending out now like this, as is. Thank you. That's good enough for me. Right. Okay, we're coming close to Minmus, and we will be getting ready for the orbital insertion. I'm guessing when we pop into high and low orbit, especially low orbit, low above Minmus, we will get a lot more science experiments to conduct, because last time when we were here we didn't have all the science experiments, so that's why it's the importance of science. Yeah, a lot of, you know, for science reference here. I'm just excited, you know, 5 more days and we're gonna get a chance to play it. I mean, 19th of December. Really looking forward to it. I don't expect I will be posting more videos before the For Science comes out, so the next ones should be For Science, so yeah, just so you know. Okay, sending out, uploading data, there we go, 24 data received. Yeah, as much science as we can get, please, thank you. I do love the chatter, this kind of gives you a little bit of sense of conducting the experiments and running with all that jazz, so it's like, it feels real fun. Okay, 160 meters, and I think I heard a bloop, probably, but I'm above Midlands, and I've been above Midlands. Oh, there we go, some more Minmus Midlands. Okie doke. Gravity scan, we'll be sending that one, thank you. We are a little bit dependent on the electric charge, but we have plenty of electric charge and we are being recharged anyway. By the way, I might as well turn on the lights, because the cabin lights, you know, they provide a little bit of light. So orbital insertion should be in 23 seconds. I'm just skipping to the interesting parts because I don't think you guys want to be seeing everything. And look, there's our landing site below from the previous iteration. Gravity scan, sending data, and hitting the burn. There we go. Making sure we do a proper orbital insertion. Easy does it. 10, 9, 5, 2, 1, and good. Alright, so we are almost fully orbital now. We are at a slight inclination, but honestly, I'm not gonna be complaining, to be perfectly honest. To me, it looks good enough, and it is crossing the lowlands, which is good, we don't have them, and great flats. So tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go and I'm gonna land this rover in the Great Flats and see if I can get it to the slopes to at least, you know, cross into the lowlands area. If I manage to pull these two biomes, I'm gonna be pretty happy. Now, when it comes to returning this rover, that will be a different story. So let's go, add maneuver node. We're gonna be tightening our grip on Minmus, and that's not gonna be a big burn. We have like more than enough to land and everything, but the landing is gonna be a little bit interesting. And I'm gonna talk you through it once we get there, but right now, this is a deorbit burn. Good, there we go. We are ready, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna be probably skipping. Let's close this. I don't want to be performing any more experiments until we land. I'm gonna be focused on the landing rather. The downside is that we will be landing on the dark side of the Minmus, so I do apologize, and this is me in post-production, if some of the shots will be a little bit darker. I will accelerate the unnecessary parts, but I really want to be landing in the Great Flats. Alright, we're getting dangerously close to the Minmus surface. We are just above the lowlands, and we just want to make sure that I'm in good position to perform the deorbit burn once we get above the Minmus flats. Here I'm not going to make a maneuver node because I do want to be cancelling my horizontal speed completely, which is 160 meters per second. So when we're getting here, alright, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to do the burn here. And after I've killed most of my horizontal speed, as you can see is just like some millimeters per second, we have decoupled. And then I've wanted to control from here, from the probe that I have put underneath the rover. So that means now up is actually directly up above the rover. So our surface velocity is positive because we are going towards Minmus, because the probe has obviously been flipped, and you are watching now the landing in 4 times acceleration because I figured you don't want this to be happening for too long. So we are now decelerating using the thrusters, and as you can see we're using light as guidance, and we're going to be touching very softly and gently on this minty Minmus surface. Jean-Philippe, I could not have pulled it better without you, buddy. Awesome work. Love it. Okay, shutting down the engine to prevent accidental leaving Minmus surface for good, and which means we have some science to perform. So let's open our rollers and let's kick in some science. So what do we have here? We're going to be performing a lot of science because we have come here to do that. Open up and laser data. Yes. Systems check. Keep the experiment, and we're gonna be sending some of that later. So let's log the magnetometer. I'm keeping for the time being because we are on the dark side, and I'm worried that we don't have a working connection back to the KSE. So that's why I'm performing the science experiments and keeping them, and I will be sending them the moment we get connectivity back to the KSE, of course. So there we go. Log temperature. There, what else do we have? Gravioli. We have the barometer. We have the Science Micro. That's a small, nice for, you know, Science Junior. That's awesome part mod. I think it's from the restock or something. I'm not exactly sure. Good. Once we are done with the experiments, we're going to be extending this, and we're going to take Radoslav, our engineer du jour, to plant a flag and collect the surface sample. Turning on this beautiful illumination, EVA report, and we have collected the surface sample. By the way, animations, we're going to have animations for surface sample in the For Science update. Are you excited, guys? That's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to see how is data being collected. We did see a preview, but I think it's going to be fun to check them out for ourselves. Okay, screenshot, and it's a little bit dark screenshot, so what I'm thinking I'm going to do, I'm going to skip it until the daylight. Yes. And when the daylight hits, now we're gonna do a joint selfie, because selfies are part of collecting science. At least they are in my playthroughs. So yeah. And at this point, while we are wiggling our Kerbals out, I'm gonna ask you to, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Press that like button because it helps me with the almighty algorithm so that other people can also enjoy this playthrough that you have been graciously enjoying. So yeah, thanks for doing that. I really appreciate it. Now, after we take the selfie, let's take a nice, cool selfie. Salute, will you? Alright. Oh, don't scratch now. We need a selfie. Yeah, like that. Salute, buddy. That's awesome. Alright, and we have gathered a total of 657 science that we're gonna be using in the following videos. But thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.